I have a difficulty knowing how high I need to push up Raheem Mostert. Normally, these are like, can I just not rank Kyle Pitts this week? I really want to not rank Kyle Pitts this week, but I've come to you with optimism that Raheem Mostert, I mean, unless you draft Chase Edmonds, but that's on you, that Raheem Mostert, he is truly evolving into, they've like completely elevated into this 3-down back kind of role. Last week, he dominated the team's routes. He was good in terms of target share, and it's been weeks and weeks that we've seen him clearly be the team's number one running back in terms of carries. This week, he gets, I believe he gets a great matchup against the Lions, who are both terrible against the pass and the run. His team also has the second highest implied team total and their favorites. Like, he's a workhorse back on a really good offense. That's what we would say about a top 12 running back. I'm not sure I'm throwing him in there yet, but like, if you run the projections based on his role for the past 4 weeks with his implied team total, he's probably going to look like a top 12 running back.
I have him as the RB12.
Okay.
Kind of for all the reasons you laid out. And I was skeptical the Dolphins would give him like the complete pie, especially with his injury history, but they're just not on the same page with Chase Edmonds. And they clearly decided we will feature Raheem Mostert till Raheem Mostert gets hurt. They're probably assuming he will get hurt at some point. I mean, not even trying to be funny. They understand his history better than we do. And then it's a risk to give him these kind of workloads. But I think they just feel like they don't have any other choice. You know, their season's kind of on the brink. I mean, on the brink is strong, but what are they? I think 3-4, I think.
4-3.
4-3.
They're gonna roll the Lions.
Yeah, they're gonna win this week. So no offense to the Lions, but really really good matchup for Raheem Mostert. And yeah, Kyle, it felt weird, but at least in the initial ranks, I had to jam him into the top 12.
Yeah, I mean, it was 71% of the dropbacks last week he ran a route on. He's got 15 touches in every week since, I believe, week 3. Maybe it's, since week 3. He's like, it's hard to accept the fact that this guy who has never been healthy, who it would almost make sense for the team to not give carries to, or at least not give a lot of carries to, definitely not the bulk of their carries to. And they signed a running back to like a 3-year, was like 12 something million, $16 million deal. And he's not that guy.
There's enough money to buy a very nice house.
Yeah. And they're just putting that guy on the bench. But they have told us week after week after week after week that that's exactly what they're doing. At some point, we have to believe them. And I kind of want to rank him as a top 12 running back too.
I think you just laid it out perfectly. We have to believe what we're seeing with our own eyes, and that he's being used like an RB1 right now. Lawrence, and I'll ask you too, Kyle, are we immediately getting Travis Etienne in the top 12? Now I'm kind of wondering if like the touch disparity on Sunday was just to keep James Robinson healthy ahead of a trade, and that maybe like maybe Jermichael Hasty will be more involved this week or something. But are we getting Travis Etienne immediately into the top 12?
Yeah, I don't see how not at this point. You look at him play again. This is another one of the times where you don't really you could just not look at the numbers. You could see him on the field. You could see the explosiveness. Jermichael Hasty, I would guess right now that he's the handcuff, and there was no value in him, but there was definitely some value in James Robinson. Obviously, a team like the Jets needed him, but Travis Etienne brings you everything you want in the fantasy running back. Receiving game, getting goal line carries. Now he got that with James Robinson in the game, so it's definitely. You can imply that he's a top 12 running back, no question.
Kyle, do you agree on Etienne? Is it Etienne or Etienne? I go back.
I always said the E as in the
Etienne.
way
Etienne. I'm settling on Etienne. It sounded right when Lawrence said it, so that's what I'm settling on for good.
Yeah, I have no concerns now with what we saw last week that Etienne is straight up the guy, 80% of the snaps. We saw Jermichael Hasty, who I kind of agree. There's definitely a possibility that they knew, not that it was going to be to the Jets for the Breece Hall situation, but they knew that James Robinson was out of their plans and they would try and move on from him, that they gave him. I think he got no carries and a target that was not cut.
For some reason he got a target. Yeah, I don't know. They still threw him out there.
That was by mistake. I had that game. It was just... bro was getting no love at all.
Peterson was like, Jermichael Hasty, is that you? Get in the game. And James Robinson was like, it's me, coach, Jermichael Hasty.
Yeah, he didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah. So, I mean, Etienne's been elite as a runner. I still think he has some work to do as a pass catcher. He's not like the smoothest pass catcher. We saw him bring in 1 of 5 targets last week, but he's playing that role, and that's really what matters. And on a per route run basis, he actually has been perfectly fine. I believe he's top 20 in yards per route run among running backs. So if he's going to play that role, maybe you'd, quabble with the fact that the offense isn't as good as some other offenses. Like, I guess here's a good question: him or Raheem Mostert?
I'll go Mostert this week.
I want to go Mostert too. So I think he'll actually probably be. He might literally be RB13 for me.
That Broncos Jaguars game got an over under 39, whereas the Dolphins and Lions has an over under 50. I would put my money on the Dolphins scoring most of those 50 points in that game.
I literally, just as you guys were talking, decided to move Etienne down behind Mostert because it does make too much sense.
They're playing such
put them
similar
right there
roles.
like this.
They are.
They're playing such similar roles, and I do believe Etienne is a really talented runner, but so is Mostert. Like, that's what he is famous for, is being a low volume but super boom player, and now he is being a high volume player. So I don't think there's that much of a discrepancy between their running talent. Maybe you can say Etienne's better, but I think the big discrepancy is between the offenses. I really have a lot of faith in this Miami offense going forward. So I guess technically, unless I end up having Mostert a little higher than you, I will probably have Etienne as like 13, 14, 15.
I have him now as the RB12 and Mostert is the RB11, but this is very
put most of that running back one this week.
That would solve a lot of my problems. Lawrence, real quick, something you said earlier, you're talking about he's getting everything you want RB1 to get. He's catching passes. He's getting goal line opportunities. He's also just ripping big plays. He has at least one 30-yard run each of the past 3 weeks. He has at least one 20-yard catch 2 of the past 3 weeks. Like, his yards per carry, yards per carry is yards per carry. It can be very, very fluky, but it looks like he's back to Clemson, 7.1, 8.6, 8.1 over the past 3 weeks. So we are seeing the birth of a very, very, very above average NFL running back, and hopefully an RB1 for the rest of the season.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.